Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and I am your watch guy today. Today I'm reviewing another really eccentric piece from Olto-8. This one is going to be released on Kickstarter very shortly. It will be available from the 25th of this month, July. And I think that if you haven't got something like this in your collection, something eccentric, something a little bit out there, something that really catches the eye and shows people that your watch collection is something to really be interested in, this could be the piece for you. Now, it features the most accessible wandering hour complication on the market at the moment. It is priced at $369 on the Kickstarter campaign, early birds. This will rise, obviously. I will talk to you about that in the video. But I think this is really the biggest opportunity that we've had as a community to get this type of complication on a budget. And I think that's something really special. So I'm really glad that I've been able to show this to you guys. Now, before we get into this review, let me go through the usual information. This one has been sent to me for free by Olto-8. I don't have to return it. However, nothing else has changed hands and they don't get an opinion on this review. This is fully my opinion and completely unfiltered. So that being said, if you want to be a part of this launch, go below and you can sign up to the Kickstarter notifications in the link that I've provided. Make sure that you check that out and also check out the Olto-8 website because they do offer some really spectacular pieces. With that all out of the way, let me turn this camera around and let's have a look at this watch. I'm pretty confident that a lot of you will see instantly why this has quickly become my new favourite Olto-8. My favourite in their line. This is an absolutely incredible wandering hour piece. It is inspired by the casino, the roulette table in the casino. It is fantastically finished and it comes in with some fantastic specifications for the pricing that's offered at. Never mind the incredible complication that we have in the center of this piece here. It's packed with a Miyota 9039, which has been modified by Olto-8 themselves so they can allow for this wandering hour complication in the center. Now, the wandering hour complication is usually something that's reserved for the higher end of watchmaking, very impeccable horology manufacturers, the likes of Audemars Piguet. However, it has definitely started to make its way into the budget arena. We have already seen the Asawaka Toray Drift on the channel earlier this year, and now this is Olto-8's absolute budget, fully attainable answer to that piece. And I think that it's absolutely spectacular that these type of brands are trying to make these complications accessible to the masses. Something that I really can get on board with, something that I can really enjoy a brand ethos being. Now, this will be live on Kickstarter July 25th. I have a link in the description which will take you to the sign up page. Make sure you throw your email in there for any updates. It will be starting at $369, which I'm sure we can all agree is a spectacular price for such a watch. This will rise to the retail price of $599. But before we get to that stage, let's have a little chat about this Olto-8. Let's start with the case and the size of this piece. It is a very, very dress style aesthetic to this one, and it's very dress accessible in this case design and shape. Now, it is 38.6 millimeters in diameter, wears absolutely beautifully on my 6¼ inch wrist. It is 12.4 millimeters thick and with an automatic movement, that domed sapphire. And what we have sat in the center of the watch here, I think that we can agree that that is a fantastic level to be sat at. 45.8 millimeters lug to lug, which makes this again very wearable. And these lugs are 20 millimeter lugs, which means that you will be able to find plenty of bands to fit to this piece. However, I'm not sure you'll want to because this leather Italian band is very, very comfortable. I will get to that later on. I'm afraid the Olto-8 is another fingerprint magnet. However, it looks absolutely incredible. Now, I'm not usually a fan of full high polish, but it definitely works here. They really have outdone themselves with the finishing. Now, this finishing is fully high polish and it is hand finished with 120 hours of polishing going into it, which gives it this spectacular look. Now, I really do like the concaved bezel. I think that adds another level of style to this piece, as well as that it flows nicely with this case shape, the heavily concaved lugs, and how well they flow together. Now we have a pull push crown over to this side here with the Olto-8 logo etched onto it. It is easy to grip hold of, hand winding movement. Now we know the 9 series are hacking movements, however you won't see it on here because there is no running second hand. Let me just show you how this watch operates because it is absolutely spectacular to behold. So as you can see, the hours rotate on their axes on this 3-hour axis, and they meet with this third on the upper side of the dial up towards the 12 o'clock section. Now that is the minute track, as you can see there. So we'd be at 10 past 1, half past 1, spinning all the way around, get something new. 4:45. As you can tell, once you get used to this, this is one of those that once you do get used to, it is easy to tell the time on. And it all works around this tiny little axis point down at the 6 o'clock that you may be able to see there. That is what rotates these dials. Now, I know that it's not the most simple way to tell the time. However, I think we can all agree that is something completely different to probably anything else that we have in our collections. And that's the type of thing that I look for on the market. I think that this really could add to a collection that's already bolstered with fantastic watches. As we move to the case back, you can see this is a screwed down case back. We have that Miyota 9000 series in the back, and that's very nicely finished also. I'll get a closer shot of that to show you. Usual information around the outer edge. This is a sapphire crystal, and as you can see, it is heavily domed. However, it really does add to the aesthetic of the piece, I think. I think that it really does aid in how that wandering hour mechanism flows towards the dial. I think that adds another dimension to this piece. I am a massive fan of how this looks. Now, as we move into this dial, there's a lot to talk about, so I'll try and keep it moving smoothly. We have the obvious axis in the center of this piece that is fantastically finished in a really lovely brushed finish. We have the 4 screws at each axis point. These discs that rotate on the arms are actually clear, and you can see that there they do only have the hours printed to them, and that again gives a really lovely effect to it. They are transparent, however they do have a little bit of a black tone to them which flows nicely with this dial. We have a very, very nice sunburst effect to the dial. It flows from a grey in the centre to a deep black around the outer edge. I really do think it adds a little bit of style to the piece, a little bit of a flair to it. You know, they could have just gone with a flat matte black dial here, but they've added a little bit extra, and it does add a really nice level of class. Now, I have seen the other colour options in this, the blue and the green. However, myself, I would opt for this black. I think a really nice black dial piece is underrated in a collection. I think it's a very suave item to have in a collection. I think it's very stylish, and it really does go with a lot of different outfit choices. It's a very dynamic look to go for. Around the outer edge of this dial, on what we would call the chaptering, I suppose, we have a little bit of information down towards the 6 o'clock here. We have automatic, Olto-8 Roto, 50 meters. That obviously indicates the 50-meter water resistance to this piece. Around the upper side, as mentioned prior, we have the Arabic numerals for the minute track. On the inside, just to make it a little bit more readable, a little bit more legible, we do have a more precise minute marking, and that is in a train track style there. Very clumped together in comparison to the rest of the outer edge around the dial here. As I say, the finishing to this dial, the finishing to the wandering hour arms, and even that center point, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And obviously Olto-8 have definitely added a bit to their budget here to complete this type of look, but I think they've spent it really well. And they've really brought this one home for us. I think that it's an absolutely spectacular looking piece. Now, we do have a Loom Shot to show, so let me get these lights out and let's have a look at it. Okay, so here you can see the Loom Shot on the Olto-8. all of the markings around the dial, including the ones that aren't actually the minute track, are loomed. We do have a different signature in the center for the wandering hours. You can see that they haven't exactly spent a massive amount of the budget on this loom, which, okay, fair enough. I would have actually liked it to be a little bit better though. However, it is a very unusual loom shot. It's a very unique loom shot to see with this wandering hour complication. Out of 10, I think I would give this a 5. Definitely needs to be improved in production, and hopefully Olto-8 will see that and do that. We do usually see a mass improvement in production pieces. So yeah, at the moment I would give this a 5 out of 10 for the loom shot. Okay, so as we move away from the head of the watch there, we move on to this fantastic leather Italian band that we have fitted to this Olto-8. This is genuine Italian leather, very nicely stitched, crocodile effect to the upper side, and a really lovely soft base to it, which makes it very pleasurable to wear. And we do have 2 keepers up here, one stationary and one movable, and the Olto-8 logo etched onto the clasp there. High polish goes with the rest of this case, and I think that's the correct choice to make. We have quick release spring bars on here, makes it easier to switch this strap in and out. I'll get this on wrist and show you how it looks on my 6¼ inch wrist. As mentioned, this has been an absolute pleasure to wear for the last couple of weeks. I've really enjoyed it. I'm really enjoyed showing it off, to be honest. Okay, so here we have the Olto-8 Roto on wrist. I think this is going to be a really popular watch once this Kickstarter commences. I think that the early birds are going to go really quickly, so make sure that you are definitely on that list. As I said, there's a link in the description I've left there for you. If you want to be involved in this launch, definitely make sure that you subscribe down there. And once the 25th comes around, be quick. Don't miss out on this one. You won't be wanting to pay the $600 later on, knowing that you could have had a really fantastic deal on it. Personally, I think that this is a very dynamic piece to add to any collection, including my own. And I'm sure you're fully aware, or suspect at the very least, that my collection is very diverse and quite elaborate at the moment. It's vast, put it that way. However, this fits very nicely in there, and it adds something completely different, I think, and it really does aid my collection. It really does expand my collection in the nicest type of way. So well done to Olto-8 for that. It's not often that I see something completely different on the market, but this is definitely that. Now, let me talk to you about the downsides that I have found for this piece. So first of all, 50 meters water resistance. This is splash proof at best, and I suppose we can understand that with it being a dress style watch. However, some people will bemoan that because, you know, we all like a little bit more protection on our watches, don't we? The high polish will wear over time. It will get scratched. It will need a little bit of maintenance, in my opinion. Now, that's not going to be for everyone. So if you are planning to wear this as an everyday wear, either be aware of that, or maybe think your choice through a little bit more, because it will wear over time. And finally, it's not the most legible piece. I know that, and I know that a lot of people will comment that. However, that's not what we're looking for here. We are looking for the eccentric here, and I think that that is exactly what the Olto-8 provides. Now, as I've mentioned about 3 times, and I probably will in the outro again, the link is in the description. Make sure you're on board for that launch. Honestly, guys, this little fella here has made me feel like I'm a bloody billionaire. Like, it's absolutely insane that they can do this on such a budget nowadays. Now, I know that a lot of other brands are also starting to release this type of watch, or starting to release this type of budget complication, and it's really starting to become a more accessible piece. However, from an actual micro brand, I think that this is something a little bit special. I think that a lot of you should be looking at this type of piece, because honestly, it's fantastic. It makes me feel like I should be wearing a tux or something like that. It's just an absolutely beautiful piece to have on wrist. Now, if you wanted to pick it up, as I've mentioned about 50 times now, Link is in the description. As well as that, you can find a link to my online store. That's where I sell all my second-hand watches. You may be able to find yourself a nice little bargain on there. Thank you for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.